Have you ever wondered if the high-end luxury version of a beauty product is really that much better than, say, the mid-luxury brand or even the drugstore brand? Today, I'm going to show you two different products. One is a blush, one is a lipstick, and we're going to talk about the different versions, the very high-end luxury version and then the much less expensive version, and see if you can tell the difference. We'll also talk a little bit about the product, we'll talk a little bit about the formula, the ingredients in the products, and the price points. Welcome back, everyone. So first we're going to talk lipsticks and then we're going to talk blush. I have the new Hermès Rock-A-Bar blush, and then I have the Clinique blush in Pink Honey Pop, which I was told by one of you is a dupe for this new blush. So we're gonna try it out. But this idea of comparing very high-priced, high luxury items compared to a much cheaper version, frankly, of a product came to me when I was in Chanel recently and I picked up some of the new shades of the Rouge 31. If you're not familiar with the Rouge 31 lipsticks, the Rouge 31 lipsticks are the most expensive lipsticks that Chanel does. The case is this Japanese glass that I think is relatively unbreakable. I mean, I've dropped, this is the new one that I purchased. I've dropped ones that I've have and from heights, and they do not break. They don't even chip. And they look really beautiful. In person, it's much more impressive, frankly, than it is on camera. But just in and of itself, it's this gorgeous glass case. And it has a magnetic closure, and it has the lipstick inside that you can refill. So you pay for the case, and then you pay for the refills. The lipstick with the case is basically $200, similar to the Louis Vuitton lipstick. The Chanel refills, I think, actually are a little bit more expensive than the Louis Vuittons, but I'll put the price down below. I did a comparison of the Louis Vuitton versus Chanel pricing for the ingredients, and although the ingredients, the specific list of ingredients for the cases and the product are not publicly available, shock, it didn't seem like either one of them equaled the price of the lipstick. So basically, you know, the ingredients are more high-end, and the glass to create this probably was quite expensive, and the case for the Louis Vuitton was probably quite expensive, but nothing that would make it $200. It's the name, it's the people that you have to employ, like Pat McGrath, to create the line, you know, all of those things. And really, a lot of it is marketing and PR. But there's definitely a difference between, say, the Chanel lipstick, and Wet n Wild. This lipstick is $1, literally $1. And the reason I chose to compare these two, because you're gonna be like, Jen, of course there's a difference between, you know, this $200 lipstick and this $1 lipstick, is that when I picked up the new Chanel lipsticks, I picked up 3 shades. One of the shades that I picked up is a pearlescent shade. There's a bunch of new matte shades and a bunch of new satin shades. And one of them is this pink pearlescent shade. The name of it is Rouge Brode, B-R-O-D-E with a little accent on the E, and it's number 7. And it has a very unique shade to it compared to all of the other shades that I have purchased in the Chanel Rouge 31. And I will do a short video with the different shades if that's something you're interested in. But this particular shade is unique. It is a very Barbie light pink, but it has this beautiful pearlescence in it. And I was immediately like, well, that's one of the ones, the new ones that I have to pick up because I really like this shade. It reminds me of MAC Purr, believe it or not, which was one of my favorite glosses back in the day. But while I was using it, I was like, wow, this reminds me of something, and I couldn't think of what it was. And what it is this Wet n Wild lipstick that I purchased forever ago. I don't actually even remember why, but it had, to me anyway, a similar shade. And I was like, that can't be, right? It's got to be very, very different. And so I decided to do a comparison side by side of the two shades. And what I found is, yes, there absolutely is a similarity between the two. And although certainly not dupes, I mean, they're not exactly the same, they are very, very close. So what I thought I would do is talk a little bit about the ingredients in these two, talk about the formula, And then also, the lipstick I'm wearing right now is one of these two lipsticks. Can you tell if it's the Chanel or the Wet n Wild? A couple of things about the Chanel 31 versus the Wet n Wild. The Chanel 31 has naturally derived ingredients. So the satin version has 75% naturally derived. Gardenia oil, which is an exclusive ingredient for Chanel, and maracuja oil, which is passion fruit seed oil. And it says finely micronized pigments and sheer mother of pearl for a color finish. The full ingredient list is not publicly available, so you can't even tell. Wet n Wild, it is publicly available. I have all of the ingredients. You can see every single thing that's in it. And it says they're, a enriched formula with vitamins A and E, aloe vera, macadamia nut oil, for hydration. The key differences between those types of oils is that Chanel's formula emphasizes the premium oils, so the gardenia, the maracuja, and has a higher naturally derived percentage. The Wet n Wild uses conventional oils like castor oil, waxes like ozocarite, which I don't know what that is, candelia, and that type of wax. So it's a cheaper alternative ingredient. Chanel says it has skincare benefits, smoother, better, fine lips, and Wet n Wild says hydration via vitamins, plant oils, but includes petroleum and mineral oil. The transparency of the two, luxury, doesn't tell you what's actually in all of the products, and Wet n Wild does. So you can look at a full list. The Chanel is $200. The Wet n Wild is $1. Now, beyond the ingredients, you get into the luxury versus drugstore, and you say to yourself, okay, well, even if they look exactly the same on the lips, which you'll get to see in a minute, this is a hefty glass case with this, you can tell it's Chanel by the shape, by the CCs on the top. This is a very plastic, very lightweight drugstore lipstick. And I think you can tell immediately which one is more expensive, which one is luxury, which one is not. If you look at the two lipsticks on my hand again, I think it's very difficult to tell which one is which. When you wear both formulas, I can tell you that there is a difference in the feel of the lipsticks. The Chanel has more of a hydrating, comfortable skincare kind of feel. The Wet n Wild does feel more waxy on the lip. But what I would say to you is that when you're wearing both of them, like from one minute to another, you can't really tell which one is Chanel and which one is Wet n Wild. To give you an example, can you tell that I switched lipsticks while I had my hand up like this? And can you tell which one was which? Which was the Chanel, which was the Wet n Wild? They aren't exactly the same color. If you look closely, the Chanel has more of a subtle finish, whereas the Wet n Wild has more of a frosty finish. So you can see a difference. The shade is not exact. But on the lips, it's very close. And what I would say is that if it was the exact same shade, I'm not sure I could tell the difference. And I honestly don't prefer the look of one or the other on my lips. So when deciding, right, and really the reason to do this video is not everything you own has to be luxury. Now, if you want it to be luxury, fantastic, wonderful. I love luxury, obviously. I'm here talking about it. But makeup that you're wearing, if it's not giving you luxury formula and a luxury finish, just because it is luxury doesn't mean it's worth it. Do I think this Chanel lipstick is worth $200? Personally, no. Is it one of my favorite formulas? Yes, it is. And I love the case. I think it's stunning. If I had to compare it to the Louis Vuitton, I actually like the Louis Vuitton formula a little better than the Chanel. But again, I don't think it's 200 times better than this lipstick. I think it's twice as good as the Wet n Wild, but I don't think it's 200 times as good. And on your lips, you really can't tell. The difference comes down to the packaging, the name, so if you pull it out of your purse or out of your pocket, and the last thing is the formula. I will say that the Wet n Wild, when you wear it, does not last as long on your lips. I wouldn't say that the Chanel lasts 200 times longer, because it doesn't, but it definitely lasts longer. And the Wet n Wild, because of the waxes that are in it, it can actually feel less comfortable on the lip. Like the Chanel one feels like you put skincare, like a balm. The Wet n Wild feels like a lipstick, if you know what I mean. Like it feels weightier on your lips. And sometimes for someone like me, I have like my skin gets sensitive. And so anything that's heavy on the lip will bother me. So I will say that if I were choosing between these two in a blind feel test, I would pick the Chanel. But again, $200 versus $1. If that's not a huge concern to you, if you don't have super dry lips, or frankly, you don't need it to last twice as long, go with the dollar lipstick, guys. I mean, get something else. Get something else. Now, there are many lipsticks that are in the range in the middle there that I think are excellent choices to so you don't have to go from one extreme to the other. This is a Rouge Coco Flash in shade 82. It's not the same color, but it's a similar kind of shade. And it has a similar finish. And 82, by the way. And it's a little bit more glossy. It comes off faster, but again, not $200, not $1. Chantecaille has one that is pink opal, which has a similar kind of finish, a little bit different shade, but you have that opalescence, and again, not $200. Definitely nicer packaging, higher luxury, ingredients. Sisley. This is shade 10. This is sheer nude. Again, similar shade, similar finish, a little glossier, but you get the gist. And it has the Sisley is one of my favorite formulas that exists. Dior. These are the Attic lipsticks. This is in shade Dior Lilac. Similar type of finish, similar type of shade. A little bit more purple, but it's not gonna look that different if you're looking for a dupe of the Chanel. And then we have Guerlain. Again, a little bit deeper, but a beautiful finish. And this one is number 76, but a beautiful finish. And they're similar shades. I would still say of all of the ones, and I went through all my lipsticks that I have, the Wet n Wild is the closest in shade. It is almost an exact dupe. It's a little deeper than the Chanel, the Rouge Brode, but it's very, very close. So I am sure there's other mid-range lipsticks out there that have a similar shade. Just look for something that's like an icy pink with a pearlescent finish, because that's really what it is. But if you are out there right now and you love the Rouge 31 new shade and you think, oh, it's gorgeous, but you don't want to spend $200, or you don't want to spend the money for the refill, which is, and I'll make sure the price is down below, the Wet n Wild in dark pink frost is pretty close. Okay, so can you tell which one was first and which one was second? This is the Chanel. The one I had at the beginning of the video, which I'll put up, was the Wet n Wild. Okay, now let's take a look at the blushes. So this is the new Hermès. This is the Rocabar blush, and it is Poudre Rocabar, and it is $120. I got it actually on sale, and I wasn't gonna pick this up because I was like, I'm not spending $120 on a horse, but everybody wanted to see it, so, and it was on sale, so I was like, all right, I'll show it to you. Now, this is, as you can see, different shades. So we've got the brown, the cream, the pink. There's a purple in here. It's cool looking. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Like, Hermès blows out of the water when it comes to the design. It says, this design by Henry Diergenet. That's probably wrong. The curves of the silk stylized horses blend with the stripes of the Roquebar blankets to compose a graphic design in a visual play on form, the perfect optical illusion. I mean, it is very cool looking. I'm just like, but I'm gonna ruin it. I mean, the minute I touch it. Then we have the Clinique blush, which is on sale, and they're gonna have a Black Friday deal as well. This is the Pink Honey Pop. Again, packaging, right? Much, much different packaging. Although, I mean, I still think it's cool with the flower. I think that's a cool embellishment. Again, Pink Honey Pop. This is shade 18. Now this has 0.12 ounces in it, and the Hermès is 0.52 ounces. So yeah, it's 4 times bigger. So the price point, actually, if you think about it, is about the same, because 0.52, 12, 24, 48, I mean, literally it's 4 times the size. So yes, it's a lot cheaper, but price per ounce, it's about the same, because you're getting a lot more with this blush. All right, so formula. The formula in Hermès, you do have the synthetic Fluoro Flow Gopite, mica, cornstarch, zinc. There is perfume in here. There is alcohol and a botanical extract, Morris Alba bark extract. I don't know what it is, but you know. It's airy, silky, melts into the skin. Pigments are fine mother of pearl to get the luminous finish. And then Clinique has a bunch of stuff that I don't really know what it is. Glycerin, dicalcium phosphate, squalene. I know what squalene is. Dimethicone, etc. It is fragrance-free though, and it is alcohol-free. It's also dermatologically tested. So the Clinique products are fragrance-free. The cleanser from Clinique, the cleansing balm, if you're somebody who likes like Hermès, for example, and you want a really great cleansing balm that doesn't have any fragrance in it, that one's very similar. It's a little bit more waxy, but I really like that one. Anyway, it uses emollients, humectant, glycerin, squalene, and powder and pigments to get its finish. So the Hermès has a more luxury premium powder base with the mother of pearl fragrance and the luxury finish, whatever that is. And then Clinique, of course, is a broader accessibility type of product, fragrance-free, alcohol-free, and humectants and emollients for comfort. So we're going to take a look at the 2 finishes, but I would say if the shades are similar, which I have heard they are, do you really need this much blush with the horse on it, which you're probably going to destroy in seconds, versus this one, which again will be 30% off. So let's swatch the Clinique, and it's fragrance-free and alcohol-free and all those good things. Now, it's a hard blush. Like when you press on it, it feels a little harder. It's not like the pigment's not coming off. It is. It's just, it's like, it's not super soft. There's no kick up for it. That's the shade. It's a really pretty shade, actually. Watch me find out after all these years that Clinique is like my favorite blush. That will just kill me, because I'll just be like, why did I not know that? All right, now we're going to try this. Now, here's the thing. The reason I don't generally like these types of products is because you have to swirl them together to get the shade. And I always feel like depending on how you use the brush, you're going to get a slightly different color. And I don't like that. But anyway, I'm going to use my finger. Bye-bye, horsey. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right, so this one feels much finer. This is the Clinique. Yeah, it's very close. The difference is the Hermès has a goldenish luminosity that it gets from the cream, golden, whatever, in the horse itself. Whereas this doesn't have that. This just has the one shade, and this has, you know, shades put together. So let's see on the face if we can tell the difference. I'm going to use one of my new favorite brushes. And talking about like differences between a more reasonably priced product and a more expensive product, this is the Shoto 05. This is by Refer. And so we're going to do Clinique on this side and Hermès on this side. The Refer brushes are exceedingly well priced for what they deliver. This brush has fast become one of my favorites for blush because the way it's designed with the different length hairs, you can really get a very soft but pigmented look that I think works really well on pretty much anybody, like anybody's skin, but look how beautiful that disperses. Okay, now we're gonna do the Hermès over here. There's a lot more kick up from the Hermès, so you have to be a little more careful with it. It has a fragrance, you can definitely smell that. I think it smells very nice, but not everybody likes a fragrance. It's basically the same color. However, there is a difference in formula. The Hermès is softer. I think it has more of a luminescence than the Clinique. However, I think the Clinique is pretty good. So what I would say the difference is Hermès has, of course, the luxurious packaging and the brand prestige. I mean, it's Hermès. It is a soft, airy texture. It melts into the skin. I absolutely agree with that. It does melt. It literally like infuses into the skin. So it leaves a beautiful finish. If you're somebody who, you know, really values the ritual of makeup, like, you know, with the design and I think this, and plus, although, yes, much more expensive just on the face of it, per ounce, it's actually about the same because the Clinique's about $30. If you multiply that by 4, it's $120. This is $120, and the size-wise, it's times 4. So per ounce, it's about the same. But the Hermès does have alcohol and fragrance in it. The Clinique does not. And I have to tell you guys, in the 10X mirror, it doesn't look different on the face. The feel is different. This feels softer and it infuses more. You can even see how it sort of just, it kind of came down here a little bit more, whereas this one has a harsher line and it's the same brush. So what it is the formula is softer. It's more forgiving. So, you know, on drier skin, on more fussy skin, the Hermès is probably more forgiving, but there isn't a drastic difference. And the lipstick, like I said, the Chanel is better. There's no doubt. I wouldn't say that it's not, because it is, but the other lipstick is $1. And so if you love the shade, like if you go into the Rouge, if you go into Chanel and you see the Rouge Brodé and you're like, oh, I just love that shade. And it is beautiful. I really like the luminescence of it. It's really very pretty. But you just, you know, you're like, well, I don't already have the case, and you have to placeable bullets with the case. So it's $200. If you already have the case, then you only have to buy the refill. So it's not as bad. But the Wet n Wild is $1. And it's a pretty good dupe. And I bet you if I searched through Sephora or Ulta or many other stores, I could find a mid-luxury, a mid-price lipstick that is a very close dupe. The ones that I showed you in formula and finish, they are similar, but they're not exactly the same shade. But I bet you there's one out there. Again, it's a very light pink, pearlescent shade. The difference with the Wet n Wild is it's a little bit more frost, and that's actually in its name. But it does look very similar on the lips. So, you know, during the holidays when you're buying gifts for other people and things are very expensive and there's lots of things going on and there's other things that you want to buy, it may be a good option to go with a lesser priced item that still is really good quality, say the Clinique, for example, instead of the Hermès. When, how much blush are you really gonna use? 30%, they're gonna have 30% off. They have a lot of different shades. It's a good formula. Clinique's been around for a long time. And, you know, save that money for maybe you get the Chanel Rouge 31 because you love the case so much. Those are the kinds of decisions that, you know, you can make. And I just feel like it's important for us here in social media to talk about these types of things, because even though I love luxury and I love the Louis Vuitton lipsticks and the Chanel lipsticks and, you know, Dolce & Gabbana and Fendi and Victoria Beckham and Chantecaille and Clé de Peau and all those high-end brands. There are lots of other great products out there. It's just that they might not have the same packaging, they might not have the same feel, and some of them do not have the same quality finish on your face. And I try to draw that out when I see that. So these two products I felt like did have good finishes and product and ingredients, so that I don't think there's a drastic difference in the products themselves. I think they are, for what they are, both really good. And I think you wouldn't, you know, go wrong with purchasing them. Yes, the Wet n Wild is a little bit more waxy, and yeah, it's a little bit, you know, not as comfortable on your lips, but it's $1. So, and the Clinique I actually think is excellent. It's just a little bit firmer and less melting than the Hermès. And to be really honest, as a makeup artist, on most people's skin, you won't be able to tell the difference. Like, I'd say like 85% of people, you won't notice. You would not be able to tell. I mean, just to be truthful. You can tell about the packaging, no doubt. And you can tell about the feel and the way that it feels to you. And that does matter. But in the performance, generally, there are times when you can make these types of decisions about what really works for you, and whether you're buying it for the luxury experience and packaging, which again is also fine. You just get to make those decisions for yourself. And so it's important that we here give you those options so you can make better decisions for you, because everything is so expensive. And sometimes it's worth it, and sometimes it isn't. So it's up for you to decide. So hopefully that was helpful. I will be doing more of these types of things, trying to find dupes for things when I actually feel like they're actual dupes and they're like good quality. The Wet n Wild actually really surprised me. I mean, I've had that lipstick for some time. That's how I knew it was decent, and it actually wears pretty well and it feels comfortable. But yeah, it's actually a decent lipstick for $1. I'm kind of surprised. But again, some people might have problems with the waxes that are in there or whatever. So there's all, you know, fragrances can also cause problems, and the Hermès has that and the Clinique doesn't. So again, you know, it's an individual choice. So I'd love to hear if you have any really high-end products and then dupes that are like much more accessible in your collections. I'd love to hear what they are. Certainly be willing to test them out. And thanks to my subscriber for mentioning this Clinique blush, that it was the same color, because I wouldn't have found this on my own. I really wouldn't have. Clinique doesn't necessarily pop to mind, but I have to say Clinique actually just sent me a box of stuff, which I'll post on Instagram and YouTube. And I've been retrying a lot of the products that I used to have when I was younger. And there's a reason that this brand has done so well. They have really great products. And if you haven't picked up something from Clinique in a while, take a look at them. They're actually a very impressive brand, and especially for people who have like allergies and, you know, problems with your skin, it's a really well thought out brand for the ingredients that are in there. So take a look at them. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you in another video really soon.